Well, guys, I gotta eat my words. There was a time in which I was not a big fan of these trail cameras, and there's a reason in why I really made the switch to these cameras now. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the early cameras from Tacticam, I just wasn't a huge fan of them. Like anything that that just comes out, it's just there's always gonna be some things, some glitches, some things that people got to work through. But now, as the generations of cameras have come out and they have improved, they have pretty much exceeded the other cameras that I've used in the past. And there's a couple reasons why I am absolutely going to recommend these cameras and use these cameras for myself from here on out that I'm going to break down in this video. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway in this video, so stay tuned for that. We're going to give some cameras away. Who doesn't like free stuff? Let's get to the details as to why I'm going to use Tacticams from here on out. So early on, like I said, I just don't like anything that's new. I don't care what it is, because there's always going to be issues that are going to have to be worked out in the future. But after a lot of client visits, and I've done hundreds at this point, and talking to people who are using these things, I've heard some damn good things to the point where I'm hopping on the bandwagon now. So the first thing that I really want to talk about with these cameras that I like over some of the other trail cameras that I've used in the past is these things are running more batteries into these cameras. So what does that mean? Yeah, you can run a solar panel on them. You're not always going to get sunlight in the timber. So I don't want to completely just bank on it and get cameras that run off of like 4 batteries. Not that there's really cameras that do that, but less batteries. And bank on my solar panel, because if my solar panel dies or doesn't get the sunlight, well, then I'm kind of stuck up you know what creek. So these cameras are running more batteries, so if I just take the camera itself, never run a solar panel on it, there's a damn good chance that my camera will last 3, 4, 5, 6 months depending on my settings. It does depend on the settings. So that's the thing that I absolutely am interested in, because some of my cameras in the past have malfunctioned, solar panel issues, and they just drain the batteries anyway on some of these cameras, and that's just not going to have to happen anymore, because I don't always have to put solar panels on these things, on these cameras. So that's a huge reason why I'm moving to some of these cameras, and I'm going to start using Tacticam. Another thing that I want to talk about, guys, I don't know how it's possible. I really don't. But a lot of the cameras that they offer, and don't get me wrong, there are some other things that are going to be coming in the future that I can't talk about, and they check every box. They literally check every box that I've ever worried about. But anyway, we'll get to that maybe another day. The thing that I really like about these cameras, even though the current cameras are making you pick between AT&T and Verizon service, I don't know why, but the trail cameras I've used in the past also do that, but don't work in the exact same areas that I pull those cameras, those Tacticams, and bring them down to these areas. I can't explain it. I don't have the scientific technical background to tell you why that's happening, but I can tell you on this given property here in Missouri, when we're down in the bottoms, there are areas that I cannot use XYZ brands, okay? I just can't. And they're supposedly hooking up to local towers, whatever's close, similar to the Tacticam. Well, I can tell you I'm standing in a spot right now where I hung a Tacticam today, and I'm sitting there with cameraman Nick, and we're like waiting for this camera to catch service, and it catches service, and it's got full bars where the other cameras don't work. All right, that's a hell of a reason to use these cameras. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. If you want cameras that you're going to put down in these little hell holes that at the end of the day you don't want to be going down into, because the deer are down in there and the wind swirls and you're just trying to monitor areas that you can't really get to, that's the camera to use. So 1, love the battery life. The battery life is amazing. 2, love the cellular service that these things are getting in places that they shouldn't be working, in my opinion, but they are, so I'm pumped about it. The last thing is the most important and the ultimate reason as to why I switched to start using these cameras. You guys, I've been to, like I said, hundreds of properties, and especially in the past year, I always ask people, I say, what trail cameras you run? And it's pretty much the popular answer. A lot of guys are using a lot of the Tacticams and the reveals and stuff like that. And then I ask, how do you like them? Love them, love them, love them, love them. I like them a lot. Every once in a while, and I really do mean this, every once in a while, I had an issue with one of them, but guess what? I called, and they took care of me. They took care of me fast, and like they were excited about the conversation that they were able to have with Tacticam, because their customer service was uncomparable to anybody else out there. And that's coming from their mouth, of the consumer, the people that pay for these cameras and buy these cameras. The reality of the situation is, guys, you don't want to have to call customer service, but it's a piece of technology. We know how that goes. Like, nothing's bulletproof when it comes to these cameras. And so if you are going to have an issue, you better be able to take care of it. A lot of other companies out there claim to be, the best customer service in the world, and you can say that, but if you don't back it up, which I hate to say it, some of them don't, then what really matters? I mean, that doesn't really matter to me. You're talking a big game, but you're not backing it up. So what it comes down to, guys, battery life, service, and what you guys have told me about the performance of the camera, most importantly, the customer service. Yeah, no brainer, guys. So now I feel confident in using the cameras. I feel confident in telling my clients to use the trail cameras, because even if something goes wrong, they're going to take care of them. So at the end of the day, you should be using these trail cameras if I had to pick one for you guys right now. And in fact, hey, maybe you could use a free one, right? Let's do a giveaway. Let's give some trail cameras away, guys. Like the video. If I see 5 million views on this video, it better be 500 likes. That's all I got to say. You better comment something. Comment the word Tacticam. Comment the word reveal. Drop a comment. Be positive. Don't be one of those guys that lives in mom's basement and posting negative stuff. Nobody wants to talk to that dude. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, guys. Tacticam rocks.